So when it comes to YouTube intros, there's tons of ways to do them. There's ones that are based off of footage that you have, there's ones that are graphic design heavy, and there's even animated ones. So one of the things that I wanted to do was make an intro for my own YouTube videos. And so I settled on a couple things. Coffees and camera tend to be the big parts of my life. I love going to coffee shops. I love filmmaking and all that there is to it. So here are some examples of YouTube intros of the kinds that I was talking about. So there was Peter McKinnon's. Like I said, there's ones that are footage based. There's also ones that are graphic design based, which is like the next one you'll see. So that was kind of an example of the graphic design kind of based ones. This one is from a YouTuber of MKBHD. He does tech review videos. And this last one is one of my favorite ones of a hand animated style. So what I really like about his is not only that it's hand animated, but some of the sound effects in it just make it so crispy, which is really cool. And so real quickly, the things that I used to make this were an old Wacom tablet that I found tucked away in a drawer. The second thing was my laptop, which is a 2015 MacBook Pro. And the third thing is the program itself, which is Photoshop. So the way that I kind of want to started this project was I wanted to do a little bit of brainstorming and mess with some basic frames, but also some basic shapes. Like I said, what I ultimately kind of came to a conclusion to was a coffee cup and a camera. And I wanted those to kind of morph from nothing, turn into the other object, and then kind of morph back again. I think this was another brainstorming sesh really early on. So yeah, you can kind of see here with the warping and the record. This was the original simple sketch for the idea. Ultimately, I decided to cut out the record button. I didn't like the flashiness of it, though I did like it as a concept right at the beginning, but I ended up cutting that. But I think overall the main concept kind of stayed the same. So a cup coming on screen, spinning, turning into a camera lens, and then morphing away. Oh, this is fun. So in my last video, a friend of mine and I started saying this phrase, big brain, big heart, towards one another. And I was thinking about adding that in. I ended up scrapping it just because I felt like it didn't fit well with the drawing. But this was the drawings for that. So this was like a screenshot of the heart, and had like, I think the coffee was gonna melt on top of it, or maybe the brain was. This was the brain. That was really cool to draw. That was fun. That I kind of try to make up. Yeah, so as you can see here, it's still kind of choppy. Some of the lines kind of get jumbled. They weren't necessarily positioned correctly, but you can kind of see the general idea here with only some of the frames colored. If we move on to the next one, we can kind of see the progress. Yeah, so this one still had the liquefy tool, some of the sketches behind it. And so still only some of the major keyframes positioned in terms of where the color is lying. But the thing that I kind of went through was you can see just this whole drawing of the red sketch. This is the first time you get to see the actual warping effect happen. Initially I ended up using in the brainstorming session the liquefy tool to kind of just warp the drawing for the idea. But I ended up hand drawing how that kind of morphed back into nothing. Okay, so from there I went into my main project file. What you can kind of see is that there are a ton of layers and a ton of frames. I ended up sketching in red so you can see what I was able to do. So if you watch it, I had all the drips I had the drip come down, land into the coffee mug, spin, transform to the lens and into the camera, and then finishing off into the swirl away. And so each kind of group that I went through, I went through each layer and I made all of the frames individually, which was really cool. And that you can kind of see there. And then what I would do is I would stack another video group on top of it, and then just start drawing the next thing. So like as the coffee cup came in. Now the cool thing about the coffee cup was I was able to copy and paste some of the drawings until the handle started spinning and turning on its front. But then if you look here, and if I close all these layers, you can also see the finished drawing with all the color and everything, which is really cool. One of the things I wanted to go back and do was really tighten up the details of it. So the things that you'll see would be like lines falling, or some of the writing around the lenses. And you can kind of see that in that process through some of this footage right here. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe if you want to see more. And if you have any of your own drawings, I would love to see them. Post some links down in the comments. I would love to go through them and see what you guys are up to as well.